Okay, preparing live stream, setting up meeting. Let me turn this mute on, and we're live. Okay, welcome to another episode of Thriving Thursdays. Let me make sure you can hear me. Okay, yeah, you can. I always check because the one time that I didn't check, you couldn't hear me. Like literally. I was like, the one time I didn't check. Um, but yeah, come in, say hi, tell us where you're checking in from. If this is your first time here, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I'm gonna hit it myself because I can't tell you to do it and I don't do it too. It don't cost you a thing. Hit that like and subscribe. So today we have Sequoia from ASE Wellness, and she's gonna tell us all about that and what that is. And we're just gonna have some live chit chat. We're gonna talk about entrepreneurship, wellness. So you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi guys, hi everybody. So my name is Sequoia Ashe Taylor. I'm the CEO and founder of Ashe Wellness, and what we do is that we help stressed out women who are attempting to find balance in their life, to establish and maintain healing habits so that we can be healthy and happy. And we do this by distressing the mess and by testing and not guessing.
All right, testing and not guessing. That's a word.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of words.
Yeah, because it's the truth, because it's a lot of guessing. I mean, I always tell people that when it comes to finances, like, because, with weight loss, I always tell people, I feel like weight loss and finances, they kind of have a lot of similarities, because most of the time when somebody tell you they lost weight, or somebody tell you that they paid off all their debt, or they, got this credit card, everybody always, the first question is, well, how did you do it?
Right.
And it's like, well, how I did it might not be the way for you to do it.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly the point I say all the time.
I did it based on me and my situation, and I accomplished these things based on my goals, and that may not help you get where you're trying to get. So I think that's awesome. Testing and not guessing.
Right. Right. Because everybody's an individual as well. So I think the main thing is that, with all this craziness and all this talk and all this stuff about, try this diet, go this way, go this, and then you don't realize that you're an individual person. So the reason why you and I can both do the same diet, we can eat the same exact meals, we can go to sleep at the same time, we can do everything the same, and then we'll have different results, and it's all because of the 1% that makes us different, right? And so I don't think a lot of people realize that you can get individualized and customized care when it comes to your wellness. And so that's in all things. You can find out stuff that's beneficial to you and your actual DNA and what's beneficial for your health.
I mean, that's true, because I know myself personally, because just I've tried to lose weight, like, of course, 11 times, like I always tell people. But the times that I have been successful, and like currently now, I paid attention more to my body. And my body is different than other people. Like, I have a high endurance. Like, how they say don't judge a book by its cover? I am the epitome of don't judge a book by its cover, because, because I'm bigger, a lot of people assume that I might not be as active, but I'm actually very athletic. And I have a high endurance. I can jog on a treadmill for 10 minutes and not be out of breath. I have a high endurance, whereas somebody else might be sweating profusely. I'm not. I have to go hard in the paint. Like when I work out, with people like, girl, you crazy. I'm like, no, you don't understand. My body need me to tell them, like, I'm serious.
And that's funny. And it's funny you should say that, because that is exactly what some of the things that we find out, like on the testing, especially when you're doing stuff like DNA, when it's like people are like, what type of exercise should I do? And there's some people who just don't, they have like you said, high endurance, right? And then there's some people who just say, okay, maybe I should do more things that are like cardio and muscle building and, more weightlifting. And so like for you, there are other things that you're going to have to do, like you said, just exactly what you said, to trick your brain to say, hey, she's actually doing something that, we didn't think was like light work, right? And so I think that's the main thing that a lot of people don't realize too, that like you said, just because you may be to them maybe bigger, that you're not active. And I think that's a misconception about a lot of people, that they think someone is big because they don't exercise, or they think they're big because they eat a lot. And I was exactly the opposite. I was almost 300 pounds, but I didn't eat it all. That was my problem.
Exactly. I don't eat that much either. And that's what I had
Right.
to learn too. I had to learn how to eat. And I had to learn, you know, when I work out, I go work out. Like I can't be one of those people who I'm on a treadmill, but I'm on my phone, just casually walking. I won't, you know, my body will maintain, but if I'm trying to lose or trying to trim, I got to go hard. So like even the elliptical, I get more results on a treadmill than I do the elliptical. Where some people get more results on a treadmill. You see what I'm saying? But it's because I do interval training. I can do interval training better on a treadmill than I can do on an elliptical. You know what I mean? I feel awkward trying to go slow on an elliptical, then fast. So that's just a personal me.
I would be interested to see what your tests say, because that is something that's kind of wild. Me, on the other hand, I like doing things that are probably like higher in cardio and more like probably building. And so now I'm having to, the trick in my brain and body is to do stuff that's more like weightlifting and toning and stuff like that.
Okay, I do that too. I lift weights too. I have so last week, I actually had my trainer on. So you should go back and look at that video. We said we're gonna start doing it once a month. And he's been in he's been a trainer, hell, since straight out of high school. So he went to college for it, and he's been a trainer in the fitness, and you know how it's all those alphabets behind his name. But fitness is his life. Like he's really passionate about fitness. But yes, so I lift weights. Like I lift weights, like lifting 100 squats, deadlifts. So I do that and cardio. I do.
Yeah, because I hate, like, I tell you, can look at any of my videos on talk about exercise. Exercise is not my job. Like
really,
it's not.
See, I like the exercising. Once I get myself in the gym, give me a good soca song, baby.
No, like, and so that's why I had to start doing it. And then, you know, you have to listen to your body, like you said, to find out ways that, you know, making sure there's going to be beneficial to your body. Because I just, you know, like I did a lot about that the other day about when you should exercise and not, because if your body's acting up on you and there are certain things that are happening, inflammation, things that you may not even be doing strenuous workout. You need to be doing things like maybe Barre blend or yoga or Tai Chi, that you're still moving your body and maybe doing more walking and stuff like that. So
yeah, and see, that's what I do. I do both. So right now in the morning, well, Shayla said she the same way. She said she doesn't sweat a lot either. So she's similar to me. She doesn't sweat much. And I've always been like that. But that's why I like hot climates. See, most people think I'm crazy because I like hot climates, but it's because I'm not a sweater. If I was a sweater, I probably would feel differently.
I thought I wasn't either until I started doing stuff like MMA style type fighting and boxing and stuff like that. And I was like, why am I sweating to the point where it's like,
oh yeah, when I do kickboxing, when I do cardio kickboxing, I sweat.
I don't like it. I don't like any of it. Just let me go make a nice salad or eat healthier, eat something every 2-3 hours, a light snack work. Like I can't. That's my weak. What you said? What is your weakness? Exercise is my weakness. The rest of the stuff,
I'm cool with the exercise. I just need soca. I run on the soca mix, baby. I get in the gym. I'm that crazy person you see on the treadmill doing a little dance while I'm walking, and I might stay on this for 2 seconds, and like I be in my own world, but I get my workout in. My body feel like I worked out when I left. So Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays I run. I'm doing the Couch to 10K app, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays I play tennis, and then in the PM I walk. And just walk around, like you say, just being active, just moving, just walking, because that's something else I learned too. Like, even if I don't do, sometimes I might not have time, or I can't do a full hour, but I'll still go do 15, 20 minutes. And it still makes a hell of a difference for me, because my body's still in that mode. Like, it's okay, we still working. Like, don't let your body know you're about to sit down, because then it's like, oh, okay, we're not burning calories no more. Oh, okay, no problem.
And I'm on the other spectrum, like, oh, let me make sure I go to sleep and get enough hours of sleep, girl. Let me check my.
So I do that too.
Let me eat right.
My phone
That's what I'm
at
like.
11 o'clock. My phone goes gray.
That's and that's funny that you should mention that, because I get asked that all the time with someone who's like specialized. Mainly, what I tell people is the science geeky word is adrenals, is what I focus on. The actual like layman's term is that I deal with like stress management, because everything is a stress. So putting food in your mouth stresses you. Right? Sleeping stresses you. So you have to make sure that, I tell people, when you lay down, your body should be able to rest, rejuvenate, and replenish. When you wake up, now it's fighting the stresses of everything. Like everything it can be, because when people say stress, they're like, oh, I'm not scared, or I'm not this or that. But everything is a stressor to the body, because it's doing something. right? And so if you're not like stressing out or doing the activities of the day, then you should be rested and like having like less stress and going to sleep, right? And so that is one of the main things I think that people is even more so than we talk about like exercise and we talk about you know what we eat is making sure that your stress management is under control and you actually get enough sleep, because we can stay up, especially as like entrepreneurs, we want to stay up and burn the midnight hour, and there are pockets of time when we should do that, but there on a regular like chronically you should not be going to bed at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. It's not beneficial and it's not helpful to your body.
Agree. Shayla say, nah, I don't like hot climates. This Vega weather never killing me. Mika say, I'm not a fan of hot climates either. Yeah, see, most people don't. And it's funny you should say that though, because literally before I went on here, like I'm not even on the clock at my day one job, like the right before I came on here, but I specifically just went and requested Monday and Tuesday off, and then I requested the Tuesday and Wednesday after Columbus Day off, because we get Columbus Day off because I work for the federal government. So that gives me 3 days off that I don't work either job. My goal, you know what I'm saying? Like literally, like you say, giving myself that rest because I do so much. Like I'm on this mission. Like I know I be telling y'all when I come on the Sunday meetups, but I am on this mission. Like I'm on this mission, and then I'm on my real estate mission, and I'm like letting my followers follow me while I get my first investment property. So with that, it's a lot of saving that's involved. So I'm like sitting at home, not sitting at home, but I'm being very frugal, more frugal. Like in my group, we're doing a no spend September. So I'm doing that. Like, so I do a lot. So I literally just, like you said, took that time and said, I haven't, especially because of COVID,
Right.
normally I would have traveled, but because of COVID, I have not traveled. So I sat and I thought about it like, man, I really haven't had breaks this year. Like I normally would have breaks because I go travel and I'll spend a whole day relaxing just to regroup myself, but I haven't been traveling anywhere. So I haven't really had that break this year. And I thought about that and I said, you know what? No, you need to take a break. And I'm like, October is not soon enough. So let me pick some days in September and pick some days. I did, because same like you say, you need that rest.
You have to, and I think because I listen, I've been an entrepreneur that wants to have burned the midnight hour, and I do my best work in the midnight hour, so I'm kind of mad about it, right? But I also know as the wellness practitioner, that's what I'm teaching. Like I can't teach that and do that. Like that's why I said there are pockets of time. Like you said, we have a grind, we have a mission that you're trying to accomplish. So we have to make exceptions. But overall, you shouldn't be. And yes, COVID is throwing everybody off. And so I create this thing where I tell people all the time, like, hey, have a date night, date yourself. Like no kids, no spouse, no friends. Date yourself. And so they say self-care.
My daughter's 19, about to be 20.
So. Oh, that's your heart, because I got 2 of them in the house that I have to be like, do
no,
something.
Look, and she just, left. I'm not left. I don't say it like that, but she just moved out. So.
Oh yeah, well, where your wine at? Because you got water. I'm just saying.
Remember, I'm being healthy. Wine has a lot of sugar.
You got red wine. We'll look. You got to get we'll get some vegan wine for you if you need it.
It's not white wine. It's white wine.
So, but yeah, I definitely say like having those date nights, especially like you said, like the entrepreneurship, you have different goals. Like we have to do better with, especially as us as women, all those roles that we have on and all those things. Even if you try to wait to a certain point, I'm glad you said, hey, I'm not waiting till October. I know I need a break.
My friend was laughing at me. I said, no, you don't understand. I had to literally sit up and think like, wait a minute, you haven't traveled, so you haven't had a break this year. Like you normally would. Like I normally would. This is the longest I've been in the country in a couple of years. I haven't been in the country this long because I travel. That's how I get my break, because I can't do it because I'm not there to do it. You can't ask me to do it because, well, I would, but I'm out the country. You know what I mean? But
I don't have access to the computer, and that.
Yeah. But because I don't take my computer with me when I travel. I'm not one of those people. I leave my computer at home, but I haven't done that because it's COVID. So I've been in the house working, humping, grinding. So I said, nope, I need a break. October is too far.
What about doing that at home though? Like, and see, I'm with you on that. And I was the main person doing that even before COVID. I would be like, okay, well, I got to do work, and you don't want to let the client down, and you're attaining clients and doing this. But then I had to start realizing too that even if I'm home, like there are certain pockets of time that you will not get me. Like I don't care if you call, I don't care if you send a smoke signal, SOS, like help me, you won't reach me, right? And
You say, help me.
Right, because sometimes there's a book called The Best Yes. Like sometimes the best yes is a no. Like I can't burn myself out and kill me to help you, and you waited till last minute and then want to make it a priority, and I'm supposed to stop.
Now that's something that I learned later on in life, and that's something I've always told my daughter too. Your lack of planning don't make it my emergency.
Yeah.
Because like you say, that's bringing added stress on me. Now I'm stressed out about it, and it's not even my problem.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Like it's not even my. I'm more stressed out about it than you are.
As women, we do it so much, and that's why I started the whole concept of like the date who date you concept. Like set those times apart. Like even if it's a spouse, like look, like even if, when COVID, you could have went out on a date and went to dinner for yourself, went to movie, but now set that same time aside. And to me, it's a little bit deeper than the self-care, because somebody say, oh, I took a hot bath, that's self-care. I'm like, no. The same thing you would do, you would set up a date to go out with your boo or to go out with your girlfriends. You do that exact same thing to set up a date for yourself. No phones, no computers, no anything. Go in there, take your hot bath, get yourself all dolled up, put on makeup, like get all cute, get your dinner, get your movie set up, and have that time to yourself. Because then you'll start you'll realize over time that you're going to start having conversations with yourself because you don't know when there. And then that's where you start doing soul search. That's where you get time.
And that's one of the reasons I travel alone. So I'm a solo traveler for that reason. Like I go to, like for instance, I go to Carnival every year in Trinidad, which is of course a big event. Like 70,000 people come there for Carnival every year. But every year when I leave Carnival, I go to another island by myself. So I go to Carnival, I do the big, get my ratchet on. And it's finished. As soon as I finish my ratchet, I go to another country and I go by myself and I relax. Or sometimes I might go to Florida by myself. I might go like you say, to have that time and that moment by yourself and get to know yourself. And even with me, because I'm single, so with dating, I feel like it's important too. I can't get with you and know what I want in you or care you and do right by you when I'm not doing right by me.
Girl, you better stop, because
I told a dude
said the same thing
yesterday. Like I treat myself a certain way, so any man I date, he got to at least treat me like seriously.
But look, I had to do it and start doing that because I can pinpoint every area of the life where it benefits. But in the dating world, like having young girls, being an entrepreneur, I'm a type A OCD. Like I'm an Aries. Like I'm very pragmatic. It's black or white. Like this is the description I give people when they first meet me, so you're not surprised when I blow up on you. Like I had to do that, and so I noticed in my dating world, I showed up. And then one of my friends is a guy, I call him my brother. He was like, "Hey, you kind of come up like very intimidating. Like you show up as I'm a boss. You show up as don't play with me
because I'm a boss. Like,
not me, right?
I can't help but you intimidated because I'm a boss. Because I'm a boss. Who else am I supposed to show up as?"
Right. So I had this whole saying where I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm the queen. Like, I'm waiting on my king to show up on the chair. And he'd look at me and be like, girl, where you been? I'm waiting on you. So I exuded that. And there are times where I had to do the dating scene and say, hey, you know what? Like, maybe that's not the right approach. Because I've had some other people, like some males that have approached me in that same way. Like, look, I'm going to let you be boss, but please know I'm boss too. And there are certain things you're going to let me be a man and do. And you're going to sit down and let me do that, right? But just overall, as a person, you learn. You've been through relationships. You've been a parent. You've been a friend. You've been somebody's child. You're somebody's sibling. So all those roles. If you don't take the time to start realizing who you want to be, and hey, maybe I was a little bit too harsh, or I was right for doing that. Like cut, block, delete, block party. You don't do that unless you have the time for yourself without all the noise. And there's so much noise going on that we never take that time. So we make decisions off of emotions or being rash or being harsh sometimes, and then you go back and like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have did that, or maybe I should have held on a little bit longer, or what the heck am I doing, or I snapped because of this. And it's all because we don't have that checks and balances with ourselves.
Yeah, see, I think that's a valid point. I think that's a very valid point. And I think that contributes to the stress part too, like, because that's when I feel like dating becomes stressful. Mika said that's a great idea. She's probably talking about the date yourself idea. She said that's a great idea. But yeah, I think that adds the stress. And then I think that that's even in friendships, you know, when you have certain friends or certain people who are negative, and I think all of that plays in a adding that extra stress to your life. Yeah, like you said, dating could be a whole.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic. Yeah, go ahead and sip the fake wine because that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, I mean,
Let me sip my fake wine.
right. It attributes to stress all the way around. And like I had issues and didn't realize and like not listen to my body until I got to that point of like testing and finding out. But my gut was so inflamed. Like I did, you know, like I said, I did a video about that the other day about.
Yeah, I was gonna say you was just talking about that.
My gut was so inflamed. I was like, okay, I can eat this. I could drink water and feel like my stomach is on fire. And then when I started doing, yes, like literally and basically it's IBD. You know, you're doing all those diagnoses, but doing that stuff naturally and realizing. So I had to do, like, as the practitioner myself, had to go through and say, hey, I need to start setting levels, because if I get over level 4, that's a no-go, and then I need to start doing these. So having stress reduction techniques actually help too, because if you get me to a level 6, I'm like, okay, I need to be doing this. I need to be tapping. I need to be praying. Let me go meditate and get back down to another level. If I'm a level 8, okay, I got a stress management plan about that, because we don't realize that when you keep staying in a chronic state of stress, that is, when they say stress kills,
it's killing you.
It does. And so on top of everything else that your body just naturally doing, fighting disease and helping your immunity and building new cells and trying to heal this what your body's naturally doing, all this extra stuff, like for what? Like you're not gonna work my nerves.
And that's how you get to that point when you're sick and you keep going to the doctor and they can't figure out what's wrong with you, is because you just don't know where the stress might hit. So they literally can't figure out what's causing it, because stress is causing it.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one of those reasons I'm a firm believer in cutting.
Oh, you call it cutting, I call it block parties. So I have block parties all the time.
Baby, because at the end of the day, I'm more important.
Yeah.
I'm more important. Like on one of I do this My Life with Money series. Where I have different people come on Mondays and they talk about the different, just their journey with money, how they learned about money, what challenges they've had and how they overcame them, and what their relationship with money is now. And one of them, she was saying that one of her, I don't know if she said it was her therapist or a pastor, but basically told her that if somebody's your friend for 6 months, over 6 months to a year, and you've been friends that long, and you can look back and they haven't benefited you at all, you haven't become a better person at all, and you can't see a value of what they're bringing into your life, then you need to stop and ask yourself, why are you their friend?
Oh wow! So then go to men too, because I mean you about to initiate a block party tonight. So I mean,
so I'm let me sip my 4 wine. Hold on.
Please do, because I'm like, wait a minute, because I'm listening. What he saying?
I was like, I said that's a good way to put it, and it's not even saying that it's tit for tat, and it's not about tit for tat. It's just saying like it's supposed to be mutually beneficial. Like I should be bringing value to your life, you should be bringing value to my life. Because I'm not gonna lie, my circle of people, we literally like tell each other like, oh my God, I'm so glad. Like it's funny how we became a trio. But we literally tell each other like, oh my God, I'm so glad we did, because we literally challenge each other. We support each other. We make each other better people. We've grown as a result of our friendship. So, and that's a part of it too. Like maybe when I was younger, I didn't really know what friendship was, where I thought was friendship. But as I got older, I realized I had friends that I was giving, but I wasn't really receiving.
Because you use the word friends too loose. Like, and this is where I become like black or white. People tell you all the time, like, I'm very, very clear. When you say, hey, have you ever met Naya? I've made her acquaintance. I know of her. I know of, like, there's layers to this thing. And like you said, I didn't get that until I was older, that just because someone I meet them, that's not my new best friend. That's not my new friend.
Oh, no,
there's
rings to it. I'm talking about 10 year, 13 year. Like, I don't choose friends lightly either. It's just that I hadn't realized that during that time. See, I'm a person who, for the most part, I don't have everything together, but I'm a strategic person where I'll sit down and I'll figure out what I need to do to get it together. So a lot of people don't see, oh, well, they don't feel like they need to ask me if I need help, or they don't need to feel like they need to offer me any help, or they don't need to offer me any support or anything like that. And it's like, no, I'm still a human.
Right.
So you just basically take that to mean don't do anything or offer to assist me at all, but continue to allow me to be the assistance for you. No, that's not gonna work for me.
Yeah, and I think that goes to, I equate it to two things. Where are they on that level of those rings? Because when I consider someone to be a friend, you're my family at that point, right? When we say friends, you're family. But before we get to that, I made your acquaintance. That's a
most of this started like high school, probably. Like
right, that's an associate of mine, right? And so making sure you're giving people their proper place, but then also knowing if it's a requirement for them to do that, or is it expectation. Like, as my friend, you are required to do certain things. As an associate,
that's what I had to learn. See, when I was younger, I didn't have it as a requirement, whereas to now it's a requirement.
Right. And I think the thing is, if nothing else, that's one of the things I learned about life and my wellness. Like, some people say, well, what does it have to do with I'm like, it's a great deal, because most of the time, if I expect you to do something, and this is relationships, friendships, even our mom and daddy, our children, most of the time the person doesn't even know that you're expecting that of them. But if I state to you, hey, as my friend, listen, I'm this type of person. I just gave you my description. If we friends and you basically family, look, this how you going to have to handle it, girl. You going to check me if I'm doing something. I'm going to check you. If it's a good idea, I don't want a yes person. You going to check on me. Just I'm going to check on you. I'm bad at calling, so if you call and text me a couple times, I can't have a needy friend. You telling the requirements up front. So I'm giving you your job description, and if you don't want to do it or you don't fall in that line, unfortunately, then that was the season for me to learn. When I go on my date night, I'm gonna think about what I did right and what I did wrong and keep it moving. Because that's the thing that we do. We hold on to stuff so long. That's stressful to the body too. Like, we holding on to friendships, and you're like, I know her for 20 years. Okay, and that was a season that you need to get it up, because you're not beneficial to each other at all. Like, maybe that person is not necessarily need to be your friend. They're an associate for financial stuff. I may need to call you on for financial stuff, and you're an associate of mine. You're an acquaintance of mine. You're not my friend, right? And so that's why I think we mistake. We want to hurt, but put somebody in a box to be attached to somebody and attached to this thing. Stop attaching and stuff. Like that's not the place for that. Give everything, like in financial world, what do you tell people? Hey, every dollar need to have a name. You need to know where every dollar is going. So
every dollar need a job.
So every friend, every interaction, every person that you're attached to needs to have a job. They need to have a name.
I agree.
Need to what's going on. So it's across the board to me in that way.
Shayla say, I couldn't imagine dating in 2020. Girl.
Shayla, pray, girl, pray.
You don't
please.
want no parts of it. Go love up on your husband, girl. Go love up on your husband right now.
I will say that COVID has given a great opportunity though, because I'm the type of person who don't like to have to be all up under somebody. So this virtual dating has been amazing. I don't have to worry about the physical contact. Like, we'll get on here and have dates, and we can have dinner, or we'll watch movies, or we'll just sit and talk. I don't actually have to be under you like that, because it's Corona, possibly, COVID and Corona.
Exactly, 6 feet, social distancing.
So in 2020, dating has helped in that way to me, but it also it helped you eliminate the people that you need to eliminate a little bit longer. Where if you was going on dates, and you're like, oh, maybe he can do. Now it's kind of like, we 2 months in, and the conversation is whack. I'm gone. Like, bye. It helps in that way to me. So dating in COVID time has been beneficial. I will say that. Just the dating pool, Shayla, just pray, please send a prayer.
Shayla married, so she's, hold on. Mika say, I agree, people use the word friend too loosely. And then Shayla said, people don't even invite my kids anywhere because we do a lot.
Look, that's another thing with coronavirus. Like, can you come to this event? Or are you gonna be there 10? I'm like, is it virtual? Because if it's not, Corona.
But look, it's not looking good.
Yes. So yeah, it's been Corona been beneficial in a couple of ways, because you used to use kids as an excuse. Now I'm like, coronavirus. Yeah, I can't go.
Coronavirus.
So, like, that's messed up. We say Corona help.
Hey, Corona has done enough to us. The least we can do is use it to our benefit.
Listen, you know what? I will have to agree with that statement, because I'm like, hey, I can't do this. I can't. do that. But I will say that also with the coronavirus, it helped me to slow down a lot too. Like you said, doing all the extra stuff and working, and even just the disruption of getting up, having to get the kids ready for school and taking them somewhere and go pick them up, and hey, I gotta stop it. I can't have a meeting now because I have to do this. It slowed me down from being I guess in a rut, in a routine, complacent, like just continue to do the same thing. Now it's like, oh, you know what? Well, Corona here, so why not go out there and get wet with a water hose, or go
Let
in the
me tell you
backyard.
how I have gotten my whole life doing coronavirus.
This is about to be good. She threw her net back.
My whole life. I started a hair regimen where I'm working on my hair, giving my hair a rest and a break, and having that time to oil my hair as much as I need to, and washing and steam it as much as I need to. I started a skin regimen with my toner and my witch hazel, I started a skin regimen, my health regimen. So I started April. I already started, but then I stopped because all the gyms closed. But I've literally built a full-blown fitness and health regimen without a gym, which the financial side of me cannot help but be happy that I don't have that subscription anymore. And then I have my business. I've done so much. I came out with my course. I got my course done, which I've been talking about doing for a year. Propel. Got TSP come and save my life. And then with my investment, like by the end of the year, I'll have my first investment property. So thank you, COVID, because all that money I couldn't spend because I couldn't go nowhere. I've been sitting it straight to my investment.
Being at home and see, I'm the person who's like, oh, you're a wellness practitioner, you love about nutrition. I'm like, oh, boo. My meals have to be done in 30 minutes or less, and as less prep as possible. When you start saying like 8 and 9 ingredients, that's not for your girl.
I cook on Sundays. I clean my kitchen, and then my kitchen stays clean the whole week.
I wish. I have 2 little ones that they eat like
no, this is not my daughter's gone.
Yeah, I'm like these little munchkins around here, and they go.
And I forgot. And I've been on my Spanish. So I've been trying to learn Spanish for a while. I went in high school, took it in college just to get an easy A. I picked it up again in like 2017. I took it for 4 months, and I would take once a week, but then I dropped it. Well, since March, I have been taking Spanish consistently 4 hours a week, and sometimes 5 hours.
That's you too good for me, because listen, I need to learn Latin probably because of medical stuff.
Thank you, COVID.
It's too many verbs to be conjugating in Spanish, child. I can't.
Thank you, COVID. I'm actually doing pretty well. Thank you, COVID. Like COVID, see, that's 6 things I didn't get my whole life.
Yeah,
because of COVID.
And I know
I'll be a new woman when I go back to work. They come like, damn, what was you doing during the quarantine?
Right. So listen, I will never negate that, because I've lost. Like in February, I lost my sister, my paternal sister, and in April, I lost my grandmother to COVID. So I would never be one of those people who are like, oh, it's a fluke or it's a joke or anything like that. People are losing their lives. And
I understand. Like, people thinking it's a joke. People are literally out here getting sick.
Like, losing their life and stuff like that. And
that's why I've been able to do all of that, because I've had to stay in the house.
Right. And so, but I will say on the flip side, if you have to say, hey, what's the silver lining to the cloud? It has been that we have been able to gain clarity on our business, do other things.
Being in the house all day, it gives you time, because other times you'll be out, you gotta go run and do this, go run and do that. Yep. I've literally, since March, for the most part, only left home to go to the grocery store and to work out.
Yep.
And I've done a couple of real estate trips, but for the most part, I have not really left my home that much.
I used to go out to the grocery store every Monday. Right now, I'm like, oh, how about I get my meal plan together, and the basic things that are not gonna go bad, I do that haul once a month, and then any fruits and vegetables that I need in between, then I'll do that every bi-weekly.
Right, exactly.
Even with that, like people, I think that's a concept that you're learning. That I think that's a lesson. When they say what's going on, the universe is sending us a lesson. We always in this hustle and bustle of life and doing all this other stuff. Like, eat at home, right? Get your family at the house and cook at home and meal prep and do things. And most of the time when you're doing it, it's a healthier option, because
it's this guy down in Belize, because I go to Belize a lot, and it's this guy down in Belize. You might be walking down the road and he'll be like, why are you running? But the funny part is, you're not running, you're walking. But his point is, you walking so goddamn fast, what the hell are you running to?
Right.
Slow down. Calm down.
Well, a lot of
because we're so used to that
hustle and bustle, and most people, and especially as women, like I think if nothing else, if you don't, if for the average person to say, I'm trying to figure out what I learned, what was the benefit in COVID, like think about, like you just said, you just named off, you like, I wouldn't even think about that. Wait a minute, this and this. The things that you were able to experience and do. Yes, we lost stuff and we are not able to do things, right? But the silver lining is that you're able to grow your business. You're able to save
my posting, money. I've been able to post. My posts be scheduled, be out. Let's see what they're saying.
Say you get to save money. You're like, I've saved so much money. Look, gas. I spend $25 a month on gas. If
baby, I have not had to fill my car up that much at all. Me can say the way this pandemic is going, I don't even want to meet up for dates. I know that's right. She said the same thing as you.
Girl, go on the Zoom date, girl. Look, they have apps for it, but just use Zoom like we're doing. Like, go on the Zoom. Y'all can watch the movie. Like, set your meal up. You can even dance.
You got Netflix watch party. You got Netflix party. What
you say? Wait a minute, excuse
me. You can watch Netflix together and comment and chat on the side.
Well, I would have been doing it on the phone. So we're like, hey, you watching that? This and this and this, and we laughing about it and joking, or like we're eating dinner, or like
it's a Google Chrome plugin. It's a Google Chrome plugin, and then you could watch it on, and you all can talk and have a conversation about it inside.
Okay, so I'm gonna do that. See how she making my day life, but see the dating pool though. Like we got to get to where to find these people at. Like I have options once we get with them.
My problem has been finding somebody. For me, I need somebody with an active passport. Because I travel a lot.
Well, like for me, it's somebody who has to know that we're building empires over here. Like I said,
of course.
But when you say it like that, people are like, I've had
a given.
And I'm like, that's why I say it. I'm waiting on the king to ride up to my house with the chair.
Got to, because what I'm doing, what I'm building, all this work I'm putting in, are these freaking seeds I'm planting?
Yeah, like, and I need him to be like, look, where you been at? We got empires to build. I've been waiting on you.
That's like that song by Sam Smith, "Make It to Me."
I got to look that up.
Yeah, he basically says like, you're the one that's made for me, a distant stranger that I will complete. I know you're out there. So something, then he said, just keep your head up and make it to me.
And who sang the song?
Sam Smith.
Oh, okay, Sam Smith.
And that's what he's saying. He's like, I know you out there. Somebody who's made, like you were made for me, a distant stranger that I will complete. Like, I know you out. Just keep your head up. Like, don't let go. Don't get discouraged. Keep your head up, because if you don't keep your head up, you're not gonna make it to me.
But one thing I will say that I've learned, as much as I want someone who be like, he doesn't have to be an entrepreneur. He does have to have the intent of being an entrepreneur.
Because sometimes having two of them.
Yes, it butts heads. I've done that. And so for me, I'm learning that I need someone to say, hey, you've been working for 10 hours. Stop. Let's go eat dinner. Hey, you've been doing that. Stop. Let's go to Paris. Or, hey, you've been doing that. Hey, now what?
That's what I need. I need somebody to be like, pack your bags. Go to the airport. I'm like, okay.
Look, I've already got it. Look, this is the type of stuff that I'm talking about. But you know what? Over time, I had to learn that, because if you would have asked me that 5 or 6 years ago, because with my ex-husband, I was like, you don't get it. You don't understand. So I felt like I had to marry someone who was an entrepreneur and that was grinding equally as me. And I'm like, yes.
Yeah, and I can see, like, if you all grinding so much, nobody's going to see each other. Like, how are you ever going to see each other, get that QT in? Somebody, but they also have to understand the entrepreneurial mindset. Like, they have to understand. Like, I have people that be like I've had exes. I'm an ambitious person. But if you can't already tell, but I've had exes tell me like, why are you doing that? What are you doing that for? What is your point of doing that? Man, you're doing too much. Like, I've had exes tell me this, like they didn't understand like what I was trying to do. Like, even in my current job, I was originally the secretary. And then I moved up to the position I'm in now. But while I was a secretary, I got my master's. But when I enrolled for my master's, they were like, why are you doing that? But I know what I'm doing. It's a part of my plan. You know what I mean? But instead of hearing my plan out, they were more so, well, why are you doing? Like, I knew what my goal was. I need to get a higher income so I can reach my financial goals. I need that higher income so I didn't have to work as hard.
Right.
I needed that higher income so I can make the moves that I needed to make. But then once I got it, which we weren't even together at that point, they was like, oh man, look at you. Right. This was all a part of the plan.
Man, you should have stuck along. And that's what happens with me, or it has happened with me, where they're like, oh, well, hey, why would you like instead of paying this thing or getting ahead on this, why would you invest in the business? I'm like, because it's gonna make us 10 times that. Like, where you been? Like, what you smoking on? And
so I do need somebody to have like that mindset, or even if they don't have it, be open. Like we both be open to learning, the different differences, mindsets about each person, but I need you to have that openness. Like just because you don't necessarily understand why I'm doing it, be open to listen to why I'm doing it. Let me explain, because you may be able to come in, but like, oh, well, why don't you do this? And I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. I didn't think of that. Like I would love to have somebody who I can have something like that.
Right. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, listen, I don't know if you need to be an entrepreneur, but you got to kind of have like that hustle mindset. They're like, you wrong. You want the man be out here slang. I'm like, no, because someone who like that, they understand the thing that you take a little bit of money and flip it and make more money. You go out here on your grind and you the art of selling, right? So even if they're not entrepreneurs, if you have that someone who is in that hustle and bustle mode, they understand that, okay, you got to get to getting. You can't just sit here and be like, I'm gonna make 10,000 this month. No, you got to put work into it, and you're gonna spend money to make that money, because then when we get to 10, it's gonna automatically double and triple and 10 times and 20 times, right? And so I think that's the things that now, before I would have been like, oh, I'm expecting him to do that. Now those are requirements. Like I have 2 children, so we already know them requirements with the children. Like that's a given. But the rest of the things, as far as like things that are requirements, I don't think they would have been requirements before until I got clear with myself. Like I wasn't clear. I was like, oh, well, that's not a red flag, or that's like a green. It's a yellow light. It's a warning, but it's all right. It can pass go. Until I start going through that process of saying, no, I really don't like that. I've been with someone that I didn't like the way that made me feel when you didn't want to do this, or you didn't want to travel to go do this, or so those certain things, like you said, for having a passport, I'm like, yeah, I want to be.
For me, I got to, because I travel a lot. So it's eventually, if you don't have one and you're not willing to get one, and you just don't like to travel, you need to be okay with me traveling without you.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And that a lot of times will cause a problem in a relationship, because I travel. Now, granted, when I get in a relationship, my travel would slow down. But just to give you an idea, 2020? So 2019, I probably took almost 40 flights. Like I travel. So for me to be with somebody, they need to either be okay with me traveling or be willing to come on some of those trips, because that's my therapy. I'm not a shopper. I'm not a drinker. I'm not a smoker. I'm not a big drinker. I got a whole kitchen full of liquor because I collect rum. I collect special rum from other countries. Mm-hmm. I don't drink it though. Other people drink it. I'm not a big drinker. So that is my therapy. Me being able to go travel, learn about another culture, relax, chill. So you telling me I can't travel is you messing with my peace of mind, which I'm not really going to be. That's not gonna work for me.
Right. That's the white flag. Like I'll tell people.
Exactly. You play your game, or you go hang with your boys, or whatever your therapy or your time is. That's my me time. I love to travel. So that's why I say I need somebody who either has a passport, even if they don't have it, be willing to get it and use it. Yeah. But to find somebody who has a passport and they're not scared to use it will be absolutely fabulous.
I'm like, look, let me take this, and I understand some of that stuff is gonna be business, because like if it wasn't for COVID, we would have been doing more traveling and flying this year for business stuff. So I'm not expecting him to kind of do that and hustle and bustle. But when it's time for us to be like, hey, no, we've been doing like you said, it's been all this leave,
all this leave I'm saving up that I haven't used this year.
She said he better be ready.
I'm ready to hit like.
And post Corona, like, let me get these 2 flights to go.
What's that thing is that on the commercial with a little ball just be bouncing?
I think that's important though. So those are things that I think.
Like even for my wedding, like I'm wholeheartedly cool with a courthouse wedding with a reception, and we go travel.
Girl, well, let's not get on that marriage thing. But I keep telling people, I'm like, listen, I'm gonna have a ceremony in Hawaii. So at this point, we're probably gonna have kids, and he's gonna have kids, and so we'll just have a ceremony in Hawaii. And it ain't really got to be no legal one. Like we can just do the Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn and open statement, but we just have a commitment ceremony or marriage.
Yeah, I don't need to have a big wedding. Like I'm cool. Yeah, I'm good.
We get married. We can do that at the courthouse, but then I'm vacationing in Hawaii. So whatever we doing over there is just me vacationing. So I think that's funny with that. But you have a lot of people, like men and women, that says they don't want to travel. I'm thinking to myself like, God, make this bigger or and I ain't old.
But I feel like everybody's entitled. Like some people, they generally don't. Some people have fears of traveling. Some people, sometimes people have different ideas about other countries, and they just need to. It's just a matter of them learning about them. Because I mean, at one point we all was like, oh, we don't know, and sometimes people fear the unknown, and then some people just generally don't. They're not interested in travel, which I can understand, because just like people can't understand why I don't like coffee or I don't like tea or I'm not a big drinker or smoker. Like some people don't understand that. They feel like,
Right.
what? You don't drink coffee? No, I don't like the taste of it. Never have. So it's the same thing. Like they got their preference. They don't want to travel. Like I can't. I'm at the point like I don't want to knock them for it. I just know that might not be a good match.
Right.
You're gonna be looking at me sideways, like you going where again? Like, sorry, you just.
But you have some women out there saying you crazy for not being in a relationship because of it. I'm like, no, when you start having the requirements, like you said, the song, what this song say, is to make it.
Somebody I'm crazy for not being in a relationship.
Like somebody would say that you were crazy for saying you wouldn't be in a relationship with someone who doesn't want to travel.
Oh yeah, I've seen people get in like serious arguments about that.
What? No, like that's not.
But it's like that's my preference. I let you have your preference. I have mine. I'm not saying that he got to have a passport. I'm just saying if he doesn't have one, be open to getting one and using it. Now, granted, he may get it and use it and he may not like it, but I appreciate and respect the fact that you were open to it and you were willing to try it before you just knocked it and didn't even try to consider it. You see what I'm saying? Right. And if you're not, you got to be okay with me traveling, because I'm not going to say, oh, no, I'm not going to travel at all now because you don't like to travel. That's not fair to me.
But a part of what I hear you saying you like asking for is that you want certain things. You want to travel, like you said, you want to get your alone time and do that. But if you're gonna have someone in your world, you want to experience certain things with the person that you love.
Yeah, vacations are the best.
Right. So it's like some travel I could do on my own, some I could do with my friends, some gonna be business, right? But then there's
some can be with you.
As my bate, I want to experience certain things with you. I want.
Yes, we can vacation. Let's go vacation in the Canary Islands. Like, let's go.
Girl, this whole fantasy of I'm sipping my ties and we on the beach, and then the secretary called me. I'm like, why did you call our phone?
The secretary, go ahead, girl. Put it out there.
Why do you call our phone? So if you have those type of business and stuff, there's just certain things that you're not going to want to do. Like you may want to go to Carnival by yourself, but then there may be you may want to go.
Yeah. I do want to go to Carnival. It's no May. I do want to go to Carnival by myself.
She's like, no, you can't come. Like if you come, you're going on your own.
If he want to come, he can come. But if you're gonna come, you got to understand the Carnival culture. And if you don't understand the Carnival culture, it's probably not the best idea for you to go. Now I can give you a mini course before you leave, just so you know before you book anything. But you got to understand the Carnival culture. Carnival culture is dancing. You're here to live, to be free, to be yourself, and not care about what anybody thinks about you or what you're doing. No judgment. Be yourself. Bring your body however your body is. Don't judge yourself. Stop critiquing yourself. Just come be yourself and be free and accept who you are. Live stress-free. Like that's what it's about. It's about like a releasing experience. But you have people that dance. Like it's a lot of dancing, and the guys will come dance with you. Just because he's coming to dance with you, it does not mean he's trying to talk to you. He might not be trying to take you home. He literally will come dance with you and then just keep walking, and you'll never ever see him again. But some guys and girls can't handle seeing a guy and girl dance with their mate.
True.
And not say, oh, well, they're trying to date them or they're being disrespectful. It's not. That's just the culture of the celebration. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
But some people, they're not ready. And then some men can't handle the temptation. You got women walking around half naked, left and right, which can cause problems in a relationship. You see what I'm saying? So you definitely have to. It's a truly freeing experience. It's definitely changed my life going to Carnival. Even my friend, I got her addicted now. She says like she came back from Carnival and she lived her whole year differently. And even her dating life, she stopped worrying about, oh, if he gonna like this or he not gonna. She said she started just being herself. Like whatever, this is me. I'm gonna be free. Accept me for who I am. Like that's the type of mentality Carnival wants you to come with. That's what you do on the road. You be yourself. No judgment, stress free, and most of their songs, that's what their songs telling you. Like those are the songs, the soca songs are saying. So she came back and she brought that mentality back with her, and she brought it back in her dating life.
Look, I need to go to Carnival.
Yeah, come on, as long as you're okay with not getting no sleep, bring it on.
look like I ain't getting no sleep, but I'm gonna have fun. And I think that,
You
like
have
you
a
said,
ball. You have a ball. And see, I love soca. So if somebody who don't like soca, then maybe. Mika said, I feel the same way about having a courthouse wedding and then travel the world.
oh yeah,
Mika,
like you know,
Shayla said, I got married in my auntie living room in street clothes. Hey, exactly. I'm with it. And sometimes the people who get married like that in the living room,
stay
courthouse
there
wedding,
forever.
stay married forever.
Mhm.
Because my thing is, I'm not about money, but I'm a money person. So I don't want to spend 20,000, 10,000. I don't want to be married 10 years and I'm still paying on my wedding like student loans.
Right, and then you stay in an apartment. You don't own a home though.
And hell, even if I do own a home, I still don't be paying for it because that money that I'm paying those 10 years for that wedding could be going towards me paying off my home.
Right, and I'm
As a,
saying the people who spend 30 or 40,000 on a wedding, but then go home after the honeymoon to an apartment, they don't have a
yeah,
home. I'm like,
yeah,
but see, I think that's cultural. That's the whole thing. When you a girl,
correct. Some people generally just want a big wedding. Some girls, they think about their wedding from when they little. I was not that girl.
yeah, I had
I
a
was
type.
engaged before and I was supposed to get married. I was supposed to get married this year in April. When I got engaged, I had to Google who was even supposed to be in the wedding party. Like I've never thought about, I've never been that girl to think about, oh, my big wedding when I get married. I had to Google like who's all supposed, my friends, because both of my two friends in that trio are married and one been married 10 years, the other 20. And they like, oh, let's help you out, poor girl. They're like, come on, let us help her out. Because I
I
had
feel
no idea.
but that's like we were born corporate, I guess, because when I was kids and everybody was doing easy bake, I had a typewriter. I was not fooling with no easy bake. You could give me what you baked out of it. Like talking about some putting some cookies in the easy bake, I was like, go play with your mama. Like I needed a
Yeah, it
typewriter.
wasn't me. Yeah, it wasn't
It
me.
wasn't me, and so I think that's the whole. It's kind of like bad now because they're like, oh yeah, that was kind of like always you. But then you realize that those are some of the traits that you have, and so you don't want to run away from those things, and you got to realize at what point was that stifled, because at that age, if you felt that way and you were more professional and more business minded, what stopped you? Because we did so many other things before we got to entrepreneurship. Like we
True.
went to corporate jobs, went to college, and we were like, okay, what stifled us from that? Something or someone, a process or something stopped us from doing it because we exhibited those signs when we were little. Like when I was little, it was
Yeah.
like, oh,
See,
you
for
talk too
me,
much.
it was life because I needed to get a better income to take care of my household. So I didn't start my business until I finished school. I finished school in January. I started my business April. I literally was waiting to finish my degree to start my business.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had to get through because it was like just trying to get to a place where I was more comfortable, where I could be home on the weekends to be there for my daughter. I could put her in extracurricular activities. Like that was the goal that I was trying to work to have an actual, for one, to have a career and not a job. That's something that I was working towards. And then to be able to have that time off to be home for her and to put her in activities and actually be there to pick her up from them. So once I finished doing that and I got my degree and my job, then I started my business that April. And then
I definitely get that because I think that's the whole point. Like I said, when I was a kid, it was like, oh, you talk too much, or you so
yeah, I
nosy. I'm
talked too
like,
much
yeah.
when I was little. I still talk too much. Mhm.
I'm like, yeah, but I get paid to do those things now. I get paid to be your detective and be nosy about your health, and
Mhm.
I get paid to talk. So it's like, so boo y'all, like
I'm a
we
public
look at that.
speaker. No, look, I'm a
Right.
public speaker.
So but the thing is getting encouraged to do that before. And I think that a lot of times, like people, when you do that, like if you step out on faith, I stepped out on faith after my second daughter. At that time, I was still married. And I was like, hey, I went to nursing school and I was like, Lord, this is not what I want to do. Like, I don't want to do this. Like, if you know that this is not me, like stop me from going out this path and don't let me pass this test. And so those people, like people ridiculed me for years. Like, girl, you stupid. You could have did this and you was a tech and you could have been a nurse and here and this and this and this. And I'm like, I knew it was something else that was supposed to be done, but you ridiculed me because that's what people think you should do. You should go down this career path. I'm like, that wasn't for me. Now it's like, oh, during COVID, y'all gotta work in them COVID streets. I need to be consulting the health care people at the house. Not criticizing people because I know people who are nurses, they've been thinking of being a nurse since they was kids. They were, like I said, typewriter. They was playing around with the baby dolls and stethoscopes and being a doctor and being nurses and stuff when they're kids. So yes, somebody has to do that. But I think the whole culture of criticizing people when they want to have a business or go after their dreams, there's something that's a sound what other people think. We get ridiculed, and we, especially African American, when we do that a lot. Hey, girl, you quit your job to go do that? Why? to cook some cupcakes? Why would you do that? To feel
People tell me that
prostitute?
because I was working at the post office and I went to school, and people ask me, "What are you going to school for?" Because I want to get out of here. I hurt my ankle. I can't keep doing this. Shayla said I couldn't allow myself to spend that type of money without owning a home. I know that's right. I couldn't. And see, some people don't think about it like that. Like some people don't think that far ahead. Like they don't think about like, oh, I plan to own a house. I think that they're more so thinking like, I want a big wedding and this is something that I want. And some people generally just want a big wedding. So they do, they have a big wedding.
Mhm.
And they're not even thinking about the thing like, oh, well, I want to buy a house after this wedding. Because sometimes you don't think that far ahead, So I think that's a part of it. But yeah, I still talk too much. That's why I came out with a YouTube channel and I became a public speaker.
So and that's why you paid to talk. Like, look, hand clap in the air. Like, look, that's why you get paid.
Hold on. What are reactions?
Like,
there you go. There go the hand clap.
Like, that's why you get paid to do that now. But I think it's it that those experiences don't have helped me with my kids. Both my kids have businesses, and people are like, what, are you crazy? Like, to give them that aspect. My oldest want to be a pediatrician, so we're like, okay, your business can be tied around learning and education about that.
Correct.
Right?
And nobody's saying there's nothing wrong with having a job, but we just aren't taught about entrepreneurial. Entrepreneurial. We are taught about being an entrepreneur. We are taught to be an employee. Right. I tell people all the time when they ask me, I tell them, well, one way you can start programming your child is instead of rewarding them for chores, reward them for solving problems. If they help you solve a problem around the house, reward them, because that's all an entrepreneur is. They find a problem or a void and they fill it. That's an entrepreneur. So if you train your child to get rewarded for filling voids and solving problems, that creates more of an entrepreneurial mindset, as opposed to if you give them money for chores. That's kind of more closer to, oh, I worked, now I got paid. I worked, now I got paid. You see what I'm saying? So if you're trying to plant that entrepreneurial seed, that's what I normally tell people to do. I tell my daughter to do both. Like as I'm going through this real estate journey, I teach her. Like I said, but I'm one of those people. I'm a share the wealth type person. Like through my journey, I share like literally. When I'm going my tours, whatever, I'm sharing that. When I get my houses, I'm sharing it. Like because it's so much stuff that we don't learn and we just don't get exposed to. So I feel like if I can share my experience, of course, I'm not going to share I don't like share my income or my pre-approval, information like that. Right. But I share through my journey. When I go see a house, I post the video in my group so they can see this is what a house looked like, break down to the studs. Right. Look at this, what I'm seeing. Like, this is why you go see the property yourself, because it can look anyway on the pictures online, but you need to go see yourself. Because I had one property, I was taller than the shower and I'm only 5'4". So I shouldn't be taller than the shower at 5'4". But that's why I do what I do, is share the wealth, because my hope is to teach people and for them to teach their children.
And representation matters. Like the same thing with my daughter. Like,
and then everybody tell you, "Oh, I'm a real estate investor. I got 15 properties." It's like, okay, but question.
It's all over the house, the journey, and all that, and because it representation matters. Like my daughter want to be a pediatrician. I'm like, you got to go to medical school for all that. So that's technically a career or a job. So the whole goal is like a business. Is when you go to med school, we ain't having all the med school debts. So see, it's still that whole thing, like you're building a brand and building those type of things, and she's teaching about children health because she want to be a pediatrician. So it's still in line with that brand, but okay, the money that you earn, you save it. That's for when you go to college, you want to be saving money, and your medical expense, the bills and all that. You're not coming out with $300,000 and $400,000 worth of debt. Like we're not doing that, right? Mm-hmm. It's like you said, we're teaching
my daughter. She in community college now. We paying cash.
Right. We're
not coming out here with all that debt.
We're not doing all of that. And so the whole thing is, if it's certain, like that's by law, you have to go through so many years of school that you can't change that. So since you have to go through that process, how can I teach you? Like, I love the aspect that you said about teaching them how to solve a problem. So I'm like, hey, can you solve?
Yeah, because that teaches them more so like, oh, okay, if I solve problems, like it just gets their mind. And I feel like too with the school, because school had the computer do mostly everything. Whereas I feel like we had to solve more problems with our brain. Like we used to have the little holy cards, I think we used to call them, where you have all the multiplication and you have to put the piece of paper inside it and you answer each question and you flip it over on the back and you answer each question. But we had to use our brain. Like we weren't allowed to use calculators. Whereas to now, they require calculators for simple math or simple multiplication, where we had to memorize all of the times tables. You know what I mean? So I feel like they already aren't like made to use their brain. Then they don't go outside and play like we used to go outside and play. We had to make a game out of a rock and some leaves. We had to take some rocks and leaves and make the best game ever and be having a ball outside with our friends. Whereas today got all these gadgets and things. So I feel like it would just help them use their brain more too.
I love the idea because now as a mom, I'm like, hey, how can you help me solve this problem with the dishes in that sink? So not that just a chore, like help me solve the problem with there's dishes in my sink. Or there's clothes that need to be washed and folded. So I think it also teaches soft skills. So there are certain things, if you word it a certain way or address it in a certain way, they learn that skill. So, you know, a lot of people tell me, they're like, oh, you do intentional parenting. I'm like, whatever that is.
You say you do what?
Intentional parenting. I'm like, whatever.
Oh, intentional parenting.
That's a whole, it's a thing, I guess. Because I get told that several times. I'm like, whatever that is, we just parent over here. And I just realized that a lot of times with these kids that my, yes, using my upbringing, yes, you believe in discipline, yeah, you're not going to run around and do all this stuff, but when you have emotions, I allow them to express themselves. They're involved in their business. It's not what I want you to do. I'm the boss. They're my boss when it comes to their business. So I'm an employee of their business. And so when they want to do certain stuff and I'm like, I don't know if they're going to work, I can't say no. And all the time when there's certain things, like let them try, let them work it, like let them do it. Let them go outside and do the water and the like. We don't let our kids explore certain things, and it's because we want to protect them and shield them. You need to do that first. That's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But there are certain things that your kids can learn that if you allow them to attempt to do that, that's what builds them street smart. That's like you said, build those soft skills that it doesn't matter what they do, they have that mindset to say, wait a minute, this is a problem. How do I solve that?
Because that's the thing. It's nothing wrong with having a career or a job, but use it as a tool to get you where you're trying to get to.
Right.
Like me, I work a second job. I have no problem telling people I work a second job, but my second job is not to make ends meet. My second job is because I'm doing something extra and I got extra goals I'm trying to get, and that job helps me get to them quicker because I don't spend a penny from my second job. None of it.
Right.
I don't touch it because I'm saving it for my real estate. But if I wasn't, the whole thing would go to debt. But that's not me working one because I can't pay my bills and I have to make ends meet. I live off minimal. Like I don't even live off my full first income. I live off part of it because that's the mindset that I have come to, whereas to originally I didn't. So that's why I teach people, like, do what you do, whatever you do. There's no cookie cutter solutions. Like we talked about earlier, there's no cookie cutter solutions to things, but you have to work them for yourself. You got to see what I tell people, know your end goal before you begin. Because if you know your end goal before you begin, you know where you're going. So you can backtrack and see what you need to do to get to where you're going. So that's why when I teach financial, I'm not here to tell you what you need to do. I'm not here to tell you what you did wrong or scold you. I'm here to help you get it right. That's what I'm here to provide the information and education so you can use these tools and get what you need out of them.
And most people don't realize that sacrifice, like you talking about working a second job or even.
Oh, it's sacrifice. My parents were like, you don't spend nothing. Nope. It goes straight into my savings account. I don't even touch it.
It's temporary because just say worst case worst, you did that for 5 years. And then you live another 20 years after that and reap the benefits from that sacrifice of 5 years. That was a temporary sacrifice.
Trust me, because of this sacrifice, I'm going to end up being the first millionaire in my family. Trust me.
Right. So it's like, I don't think that people understand it. It's like, oh, don't go out and buy Michael Kors, or don't go out to eat 4 times. Like you said, cut 2 times or save $20. Yeah, do that for 2 years and get out this debt. And then you live 40 years without it. Like,
I mean, and even if you want Michael Kors, I tell people, that's your prerogative if you want Michael Kors. As long as it fits in your budget and it fits along with your goals, do you, boo. Do you. Right. As long as you know and you got it in your budget, you can account for it, you can afford it, you're not spending money that you don't have to get it. That's you. Do you. That's all you. Because maybe that's what you like. That's your vice. That's what you want. And that's what your reward to yourself is. Maybe. But me personally, my goals that I have right now are more important.
Right. But then, like you said, if every dollar has a name, then okay, I'm putting 5% or 2% over, and then when I
Correct.
get
You
to
put
that
that
amount,
money to the side, and then when that purse you like
right.
come out, you already got the money sitting there waiting for it. Like I want to buy a car whenever my car pass out, but I'm best believe I'm not gonna wait till then to start saving for it. I'm gonna save for it before. So then by the time the car is dying on me, I have a substantial down payment so that I can pay most of the car off, if not all of it.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing though. I think people we're that microwave, especially us. It's starting with our generation with that whole microwave mentality. We want it when I put the popcorn
microwave mentality.
in
Woo.
1 minute and 45 seconds. I want to pop out and be popcorn, not the whole cook it on the
It
stove.
don't work like that. You got to put it in the oven.
And
You got to put it in the oven on a slow bake.
Right. And that's something I had learned later in life too. Like, okay, even in any aspect, like you can call it out, even in exercise, like you said earlier.
Oh, absolutely.
In everything,
absolutely.
It's not going to be something that's going to pop up. If it pop up the next day, then it ain't going to last long. You want it to actually take time.
Yeah. And so I've been working out since, like I said, April. The last time I weighed myself was in June, and then I just weighed myself recently. So I've lost about 10 pounds since then. Which some people might be like, that's it. You don't lost 10 pounds. I said, yes, I lost inches though. You know what I mean? But I'm okay with that because that's a slow and steady weight loss. So it's healthy, which means I'm more likely to keep it off and then not come back, which is my goal. I want it out of my life.
Yeah, but those people want to lose like 50 pounds nowadays. Like now, don't get it twisted. Like I had a gas sleeve in 2013, so I was bigger. So yes, in 90 days, I lost 50 and 60 pounds, but I was already big. So my body was like, get rid of that. Like, what you doing? But when you get to a certain point, like you said, you continue to work out and get on the program. Losing 1 to 2 pounds a week is going to be great, right? You're gonna
That's what I'm supposed to do, right?
That's sustainable,
that's
and
a healthy weight loss.
Right.
I'm not trying to lose 30 pounds and then as soon as I eat a burger tomorrow, now I done gained more weight than I lost.
Yeah, because and I think the whole thing of that is being consistent. Anything I tell people on their wellness journey, like us, we have a group called Living the Wellness Life. And it's like, hey, this is not a marathon. This journey does not end until you 6 feet under, or you just bringing your ashes out, or whatever you believe in. It does not end until then. So if it doesn't end till then you're never going to get it complete. You should always be working on something. Oh, correct. I got my eating.
It's a struggle. It's a struggle, but yes, you have to consistently show up
every day, and you're gonna have bad days, good days. And I'm like, exactly. Hey, I'll do great on my eating, and then I'm like, man, I ain't doing what I'm supposed to do on my water. Right. So then that's the next thing that you're focusing on, right? Yeah, you're doing those small changes at a time. So you may get on your water and say, you know what? I haven't been eating enough fruits and vegetables. I need to tighten that up. So it's always something continual. People think it's an end game, like, oh, now I've got to, like, I've gotten to the point where I weigh the amount that I want to weigh. So people are like, oh, you can just do what you want to do. The devil is a lie. I'll be a fool. Right?
I need to maintain it now. I need to maintain it. If I go back to what I was doing, I'm going to creep right back. And it's like when the weight coming back, it don't be creeping that much, honestly.
She said it don't be creeping. It's like and it's funny because you'll say like most people don't realize that every 15 pounds you lose is like a reset to the body. So I feel like I'll fluctuate up and down either 5 pounds. So when they get 5 or 7 pounds, I'm like, oh, yeah, let me go ahead and do something about that real quick. Let me do a little fasting or something to get rid of that. Or let me do something because I'm holding, a little bloat in the gut. Like you can't let that stuff keep slipping because you will get comfortable and complacent. Like it's always going to be something. Like they say in life, it's always something. So yes, it's never going to be an end game. I have to continue every day to still get up and be like, okay, do I want to eat right today? Do I want to drink right today? Do I want to work out today? Do I want to go to sleep on time? Do I want to manage my stress, or do I want to blow up the first time somebody says something to me? Every day you have to get up and make that choice and make that decision. And you can't just say, oh, I did it one day, so now the other 364 days are going to be great this year. No.
Yeah, me can say slow and steady wins the race. Life of Shay said, yeah, I lost 80 pounds in 10 months, which may seem like a lot to most, but I was 252 starting. Yeah, I saw some of her, so Life of Shayla, she has a YouTube channel also. And she's one of the YouTubers that like I watch her videos. And she shows like her weight loss journey. Like if you look at her old videos, you see she shared her weight loss journey. I have one video. I'm probably gonna make another one.
That's one of the things that I regret that I didn't do it because I didn't know. So I had the gastric sleeve in like 2013, and then I started doing like more wellness stuff mainly because of my issues that was going on with my daughter and then me. I didn't know at that time. Like I have pictures of like the journey, but to me it wasn't like a big deal. Like I was one of the people that was not getting on the scale every 5 minutes. I was like, okay, they told me to drink a shake. I could drink a shake every day. I wouldn't like it, like you know how we think, we just so like, okay, get it done. Like what we talking about it for? And so I didn't document my journey as much. As I, like hindsight 2020 is like, you probably should have just did
Yeah,
before,
agree.
right?
So same thing me with my financial journey. I didn't document my financial journey. So that's why I'm documenting my real estate for my first property. And also too, so when I do come out with my real estate courses, they'll be able to say like, well, she's legit because we saw her from zero all the way through the whole process. Like we know she's legit because there's too many people out here scamming too. So I feel like it's beneficial in that aspect. But now I know better. So now I'm sharing that journey. So I didn't share my previous financial journeys because like you say, didn't know. But it's already 8:11. It's time to go. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to Nia's Perspectives, our Thriving Thursdays live chit chat. Thank you so much, Sequoia, for coming in and chatting with me. This was an awesome conversation.
I know, it was super fun.
Yeah, and that's why I say it's just chit chat, you know, conversations and some of the stuff, like people experience the same thing. If this is your first time here, I'm going to say again, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and we will talk with you later. Thank you for watching.